Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Which sir ready?
Yes, ready, sir.
Good evening, all educators. We are very happy to introduce two enthusiastic educators as resource person and moderator today. Let's welcome Ms. Neeta Inamati as the resource person and Urvi Dave as the moderator. I request Vijay Pillai to introduce the moderator. Vijay sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. And Neeta ma'am, are you all set?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Urvi Dave has 7 years of teaching experience in both primary and secondary departments. She is currently teaching in the primary department at Kameshwar International School in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. She completed her master's degree from Delhi University. Additionally, she holds a Bachelor of Education degree from CRSU, Sonipat. Congratulations to Ms. Urvi Dave on being a published author. Her book has earned a place in both the India Book of Records and the Asia Book of Records. Hearty welcome, Ms. Urvi. The stage is yours. Please proceed.
Sir,
Yeah, please,
thank you
Urvi, you can start.
for the introduction. Yes, sir. A very good evening, everyone. Greetings from Extra Mile. Extra Mile is an exclusive platform created by the founder of BTAG, Dr. Abdul Salam, for providing of offline and online training. Having a pool of resource persons, Extra Mile is resourceful to provide on-site training on demand across India. Before we begin, I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam and Extra Mile Education and Training for giving me this coveted opportunity. I also extend a very warm welcome to all the participants. It is indeed a pleasure to have each one of you as an integral part of the webinar. As we embark together on this fruitful journey of pedagogical orientation of social science textbooks. Social science plays an important role in developing in an individual student a comprehensive sense of the human world and its functioning. It helps in nurturing the values and dispositions that are essential for sustaining cooperative and collaborative communities. The textbooks should be made interactive by including reflective prompts for the students. These prompts must help with connecting concepts with the current lives of the students and activities they can do to explore the ideas with their immediate surroundings. In today's session, educators, administrators, and stakeholders convene to delve into the intricacies of understanding the methodology and concepts of social science textbooks. This pivotal discussion marks the beginning of a concerted effort to understand the methodology and concepts given in social science textbooks. As educators embark on this journey, we shall seek to align your pedagogical practices, fostering a learning academically and essential skills. So before we begin today's session, there are a few things I would like to brief you about. Any query during the session can be conveyed through the meeting chat box. In order to have an interactive experience, you may clear your doubts by asking questions. Kindly use the virtual hand raise button and wait for your name to be called out for asking your query. The participants will have the opportunity to receive certificate only after filling up the certificate and feedback form, the link for which will be shared at the end of the session. Kindly stay connected till the end of the session. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. Abdul Salam. Dr. Salam is a CBSE resource person and master trainer. He is the founder and CEO of BTAG, and Extra Mile Education and Training. He has worked as the assessor of National Accreditation Board for Education and Training, Government of India. Sir, it is indeed our pleasure to have your gracious presence, and I would request you to address the gathering.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Happy to meet everyone on board Extra Mile Education and Training platform. Thank you for joining. And at the outset, I would like to thank Ms. Neeta Inamati for offering this very particular topic, which I don't think anybody has dealt with, which textbooks are often taken for granted. But here we have something different to hear from Ms. Neeta Inamati. So all ears are open, and everybody is eager to, listen to Ms. Neeta Inamati, and would like to know how textbooks can be very inclusive in the teaching learning process. Sometimes we neglect textbooks and we go to guide, and so we resort to different guides, and that those days are gone. So educators, teachers, and all know that the mode of asking questions or evaluation or assessment by CBSE is entirely different, and we have to be thorough with the textbooks. And here we are attempting to give you glimpses of how textbook can be inclusive in the education process. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, ma'am, Viju sir. Thank you, sir, for joining, and let's sit back and enjoy. Thank you, everyone. Over to Urvi.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, among us, we also have Mr. Biju S. Pillai. Mr. Pillai is the principal of Gokulam Public School, Trivandrum. He is the co-founder of BTAG and has a vast experience in the field of education in many capacities, including being the principal of many reputed CBSE schools. Sir, we are honored to have your gracious presence among us. I request Mr. Biju, sir, to felicitate the gathering with his kind words.
Good evening to all. Respected resource person of today, Nita ma'am, and today our respected director, Dr. Abdul Salam, and all other educators, especially social science teachers handling. So, like mathematics, social science is actually a little complicated subject, which all the children, they would not be sitting in the classroom in a very interesting way. So the pedagogy actually plays a very important role, because the pedagogic analysis actually means analyzing the teaching content. So with the pedagogic vision, pedagogic analyzes it as a selection of appreciated objectives and strategies, and how that strategies should be implemented in the classroom, so that all the values which we would like to inculcate in our children, like liberty, equality, fraternity. So all these values, how we can inculcate in a very interesting way, that today we can come to know with our great resource person of today, which we'll be taking, and we would like to know how interestingly we can handle this class in a different way. So a new academic session is going to happen. So I definitely hope that this particular class will definitely help all the educators to have a different and new method of implementing this pedagogy into the classroom situations. So back to the director, and thank you. Wishing you all a very good evening. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Resource person for today's session is Ms. Neeta Inamati, who holds 20 years of teaching experience. Her expertise is teaching at all levels, from primary to secondary. She has been HOD of social science subject in Jindal Vidya Mandir, Wasin, Thane for 12 years and currently holds the position of academic coordinator at Saraswati Vidya Academy, Lonavala, Pune. In academic Northeast South Schools as an assessor Adyan Limited. She has effectively finished a 6-month certificate program in the creation of NCERT organized social science textbooks and other curriculum materials. Ma'am, it is indeed our pleasure to have your gracious presence, and now the stage is yours.
Thank you, Salam sir. Thank you, Biju sir, and thank you, Urmi ma'am. Good evening to one and all those who are present over here. It gives me indeed pleasure to be today's resource person for Extra Mile. Sir, am I audible, loud enough?
Yes. Please proceed.
Yeah. So today's session, I will just like to brief you out that whatever knowledge I have gained in 6 months training course of textbook writing of social science, that knowledge I'm going to share with you all. With what intention the NCERT textbook or the SCERT textbook are being written, that is social science textbooks. And we teachers, we social science teachers, we are already loaded with too much of content to be taught, how we are going to complete the syllabus and how we are going to adopt the different activities to complete the syllabus. This is the biggest question that is placed in our minds while we are teaching this social science subject. But if we are able to understand with the different pedagogic goals that the chapters have been written, then it will be easy for us to complete the syllabus. It's not that we have to teach each and every content that is being given. We have to understand the content and we have to just implement or take proper method of teaching and choose proper activity that will enable our students to understand. We also have to understand that what are the main values, what are the main concerns that the textbook writer has taken into account while writing down these chapters. Sir, can I share the screen?
Yes, please go ahead. You can collaborate with the moderator.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, very well.
So let us have orientation of the social science textbooks, pedagogical orientations of social science textbook. The learning objective of today's session is that we are going to recognize the pedagogic goals of social science education in schools. On the screen, you can see these are the pedagogic goals that are there. That is didactic goals, reflective goals, affective goals, and behavioral goals. First of all, we have to understand the intention of the textbook writer, with what intention he has written the textbook. And the simple way of analyzing this social science textbook is by asking whether they give importance to these goals, whether they are giving importance to didactic goals, whether they are giving importance to reflective goal or affective goals. We also have to understand the priority, whether it is to imparting knowledge, which is concerned with didactic goals, whether it is encouraging thinking and analysis, which relates to reflective goals, or whether it is to feeling, that is affective, and after feeling, whether the students are able to take some action about it. That is called as behavioral goal. And we can also call it as the learning outcome. Let us proceed with the first goal, that is didactic goal. Now, when we are looking about these didactic goals, this give priority to telling students certain things. That is, they are giving importance to knowledge. They are imparting knowledge. The chapters which are there in the social science textbook, there are certain chapters which give importance to impart only knowledge. For instance, a chapter on the Legislative Assembly, it would give details of the number of seats in it, the rules for election, and the rules on how the assembly is supposed to operate and so on. So the chapters which are giving this much information, they are called as didactic chapters. Now it is upon us to think how this information we are giving and what we are supposed to do with this information. So this is called as didactic goal. Let us proceed to the second goal, that is reflective goals. So when we are having chapters which are giving lots of information, it is of no use if we are not able to think about it or use it. So textbooks and chapters with strong reflective goals will ask children to apply the rules of elections to a particular situation and decide which party should take power. So this is called as reflective goal. When the child is able to understand the knowledge which he has gained, and then he is able to decide upon that knowledge, he is able to take some decision. That is called as reflective goals. So here students would be invited to gather information by themselves and to order it and work out its implication. We would also like to see that we can also ask the students here, like for what purpose the rules are being formed, what is the major intention, why the rules are being made in this way. We can also ask the students to compare legislative assemblies of different countries and ask what the differences are between them. So we have to ask the students to question. We have to ask them to order and to work out its implications. Now let us proceed to the further goal, that is affective goals. Now, along with a clear understanding of the rationale for rules, it is also important that the students should be able to have a commitment towards such a political system. Having understanding about a democracy, about a democratical system, it is very important for the students that they are able to take a stand and they should be able to invest in doing things that are the everyday life of a democracy and look forward to participating in policy making. So this depends upon the information which they are gathering, and they should be able to make connections with the information that they are having and go beyond them. So this kind of learning, it can be acquired if we are able to adopt activities like through debates, like for example, what kind of government we should have. And we should ask students to do projects on finding solutions to the local problems. We can also collaborate it with other subjects like poetry, literature, and music. All these are a part of building of emotional and moral commitments. Just a minute, sir.
Neeta ma'am, can you speak a bit louder, please?
Okay, sir. I'm not able to see my screen, sir. I'll just again do my screen sharing. Now let us proceed further to next goal. Am I audible now, sir?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So our next goal is affective goals. So with a clear understanding of the rationale for rules of a democracy, we would want students to build a commitment towards a political system. So they should be able to participate in it. And they should participate in the school elections. They should be able to frame the rules and regulations for their own school system. So this is the meaning of the affective goal. Now let us proceed further to behavioral goals. We don't want students who only analyze but not have any kind of moral stand. it is very necessary that students are able to analyze the situation, but they are not able to take any decision, and they are not able to have a proper commitment, a firm commitment towards that. So we would like the students to take stands in a knowledgeable and reflective manner. And after taking stand, they should be committed to them, drawing upon depths of feeling and a sense of aesthetics that will guide them even in times of adversity and misfortune. It means that when the students are able to decide themselves, yeah, this is right, I should favor to this particular policy. This is wrong, I should not favor. And the students should be able to raise their voice in a proper manner. So this is called as behavioral goals. So there are certain chapters in the textbook which are meant that the students should realize the situation and they should be able to take a stand in the future when the situation arises. So here we will find that some kind of information is necessary even when we are creating students with great mental agility. At the same time, we don't want students only to analyze but not have any kind of moral stand. So people all over the time, they are put into different situations where they have to decide what they support and what they don't. While it is not only the job of the schools to control the details of the people's life, but we do want the students to learn to take stands. And we would like them also to take stands in such a knowledgeable and reflective manner. And when they are taking stand, they should remain committed to it. They should always remain committed to it. And then only they will be able to take proper decisions in times of adversity and misfortunes. Now let us try to understand all these goals in our textbooks that we find in the social science. Now this is the extract which has been taken from India and the world. This is the extract that is Geography, Chapter 1, India, Size and Location, Class 9. So this extract, it is speaking about the landmass of India, which is having central location between the East and the West Asia. I would like any one of the participants to read this extract. Any one participant to read this
They
extract?
can raise the hand, otherwise, yeah. Smita ma'am, yeah. Smita ma'am, you can unmute and read. Miss Smita? Or we have,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The Indian landmass has a central location between the East and the West Asia. India is a southward extension of the Asian continent. The Trans-Indian Ocean routes, which connect the countries of Europe in the west and the countries of East Asia, provide a strategic central location to India. Note that the Deccan Peninsula protrudes into the Indian Ocean, thus helping India to establish close contact with West Asia, Africa, and Europe from the western coast, and with the Southeast and East Asia from the eastern coast. No other country has a long coastline on the Indian Ocean as India has, and indeed, it is India's eminent position in the Indian Ocean, which justifies the naming of an ocean after it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
Nita ma'am, can you check your system volume? It lacks a kind of, energy because of, less volume.
Okay, sir.
You can speak a bit louder as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Please proceed.
Yes. So from this example, now is it okay, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So from this extract, from the example from this extract, what do you understand? What is this? Which type of goal it is? Whether it is didactic goal, whether it is reflective goal, or affective, or behavioral goal. or what the extract is trying to speak about.
Ms. Urvi, please check the chat box. They may be answering.
Yes, sir.
Madam, please repeat the question.
Yeah, I just want to know that this extract, it is speaking about what? Whether it is only giving information or whether it is asking the students to reflect upon their views, or it is asking students to have some commitment, or it is asking students to take actions.
Most of the answers that we are getting are didactic goals.
Yes, very good. So this is the example which is telling that it is a didactic goal. It is only giving information. So didactic means to tell or narrate or to tell a story. Now, second one. Now, this is an extract, an example which is taken from political science, class 10, power sharing. And this is telling us about majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. We can see over here, there is a map which is showing ethnic communities of Sri Lanka. And this extract, it is speaking about what were the majoritarian measures which were taken by the Sinhala majority that had won the elections and that had formed its government. But the measures that were adopted by this government, it tried to create a feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils. Now, just have a look over this extract. And again, my same question is that it is asking which type of goal, whether it is didactic goal or whether it is reflective goal or whether it is affective and behavioral goal. Just have a look at this.
Miss Shweta and others are saying that it is reflective goal.
It is reflective goal. Why it is a reflective goal? Can somebody unmute and speak?
If anybody wants to speak, they can raise their hands.
Miss Rizwana is saying as we are asking the students to think.
Yeah, we are asking students to think. And also on this page, we can see there is a question. And this question is already a different type of question, which is generally not asked even in the exams. Like, what is wrong if the majority community rules? So it is asking the students to think over what is wrong if the majority community rules. So it is provoking the students to find out if the Sinhalas were ruling, what was wrong in their part. And if Sinhalas don't rule in Sri Lanka, where else will they do? Yes, so this is a thought-provoking question for the students to think over it. And they have to find out the answers for it. So reflective means, it means to examine, to make decisions, to critically interrogate. So the extract was critically asking the students to interrogate themselves, that where the Sinhalas will go if they are not ruling themselves, and to develop problem-solving skills, to build positive, affective, and emotional aspects, to apply theoretical knowledge and framework to real experiences, to stimulate students to questions, to provide a macro level understanding of one's own experiences in relation to the specific of what is being taught. So this was the example of reflective goal that we find in our content. Now this is another example from class 9th history, and this is from Nazism and the rise of Hitler. I want someone to read over this. Rizwana Haidar has raised her hand.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening once again. So here we have a paragraph that says, first they came for the communists. Well, I was not a communist, so I said nothing. Then they came for the social democrats. Well, I was not a social democrat, so I did nothing. Then they came for the trade unionist, but I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, but I was not a Jew, so I did little. Then why they came for me? There was no one left who stand up for me. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. There is also an activity question given over here. Why does Erna Kranz say, I could only say for myself, How do you view her opinion? So here again my question is, it is related to which goal? Whether it is related to didactic, reflective, affective, or behavioral goal. Any answers?
Affective goal.
Affective
Mr.
goals.
Rizwana said affective goal.
Yeah, but why it is affective goal? Any answers? Why it is affective goal?
We asked their opinion.
Yeah.
We are
So
asking
here,
their opinion.
yeah. So when we are looking for the affective goals, it is asking to remain socially committed. They are asking
Hence-
be an agent of social change. The students need to be active citizens. And it also rests upon values and emotions. So here it has touched to the emotions. Then commitment to social and civic responsibilities. It should open up boundaries, and students should also be able to celebrate the diversities which they see. Then they should be able to create proper school democracies, and they should be able to work on complex societal problems, and they should contribute to community development. That is why this example is related to affective goal. If we are teaching this part in such a way where we provoke the students to think over it, we should be able to touch their emotions. And when we are touching the emotions, the students should be able to act upon it. They should be able to express their opinions, what is right and what was not wrong. So in this way, this is a part of the affective goal. Now let us proceed another example. I would like someone to unmute and read this part. This is again from Political Science, class 10, Gender, Caste and Religion. This extract has been taken. Can someone unmute and read this?
Yes. Ms. Shweta.
There are reports of various kinds of harassment, exploitations, and violence against women. Urban areas have become particularly unsafe for women. They are not safe even within their own homes for breathing, harassments, and other forms of domestic violations. Thank you.
Domestic violence. Thank you, ma'am.
Violence, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Again, my same question. It is reflecting to which goal?
The participants are saying that it relates to behavioral goal.
Yeah. Why? Why it is relating to behavioral goals? Any answers?
Social commitments.
Yeah, social commitment. And also, here we will find that.
As they,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am. As they need to make changes in the way the society behaves.
Correct. Correct. So here the students need to make proper decisions. They need to decide among the alternatives what is best possible route to the creation of open minded. We need to make the students as thinking citizens. Not only they should have proper loyalty and patriotism, but we should also help the students to accept individual responsibilities of citizenship. They should be able to make connections, which is very important. Connections between the reflective thinking and between their behavioral approach. And they should also be able to understand and respect others' point of view. Now here also we can find that there are some projects, there are some activities given in the chapters that we are asking the students the questions like, suggest your own opinions, how you are going to control pollution, suggest some ways and methods of stopping global warming, how can you contribute towards women empowerment. So such type of, or how can you contribute towards rural empowerment. So such type of questions when we are asking, they are all related to behavioral goal. So I think the content is already done. Now, some more examples of behavioral goal. It is like, if one common example of behaviorism is positive reinforcement. If a student gets a small treat, if they get 100% on their spelling test. So if we announce like this in the class, in the future, the students work hard and study for the test in order to get the reward. Now the headings which you see on the screen, it is actually the newspaper heading, which I have taken as an example. Like South Dakota cities take new, more compassionate approach to addressing homelessness, Native Americans, who make up 8.8% of the overall state population, which comprise nearly 70% of the 2022 state homeless count, including 76% in Rapid City. So here the approach that was taken was like street approach by the citizens themselves to overcome this situation. So when we also make our students in the future to come forward and to take such actions, it is related to behavioral goal. I hope all the goals have been understood by all the participants. So let us recap. Again, this is from class 9 geography, chapter 1, India size and location. So I just want to know which approach it is, whether it is didactic approach, whether it is reflective, affective, or behavioral approach.
Didactic.
Yes, correct. Now here, again, identify this approach. Please read properly this extract and answer.
Ms. Rizwana is saying that it's reflective approach because the students are asked to reflect.
Yeah. And any other answers?
All of them are saying reflective.
Reflective. Plus also we can call it as didactic because it is giving information about the how the US presidential system is working. So both the goals we can find over here. It is didactic as well as reflective. Reflective because there is a question which is being placed over here. What is better for a democracy? A prime minister who can do whatever he wishes, or a prime minister who needs to consult other leaders and parties? Now let us see another example. Just read this extract. Again, it is taken from class 9, so political science textbook. So which approach do you find over here?
We are getting mixed answers, ma'am. Didactic, reflective, affective.
It is mostly related
Behavioral.
to affective, not behavioral, because it is only speaking about, we can call it as didactic because it is telling about a story, and then it is related to affective goal. Now, next one, let us find this. Just read this extract and just tell me which approach it is.
Affective, didactic. Again, mixed answers.
No, actually,
Reflective.
when we are reading this, okay. When we are reading this women's political representation, it is asking about the behavioral approach. Like when we see that at what position India is standing here regarding women's representation, and we can see the Nordic countries, the representation of the women is more. So it is asking the students that in future, what you need to do. If our representation of women is less, and if the Nordic countries representation is this much, so it is asking the students to be strongly committed and take action in the future. Okay. Now, one more example. This is from economics, class 10th economics, consumer awareness. So just tell me which approach it is. All the questions which are given over here.
The participants are saying behavioral.
Yeah, correct. It is behavioral. Because here, again, it is asking the students to take into actions immediately. So there are enormous conflict between these different goals. Like we have seen, that didactic goal is also going along with it, and also the reflective goal, and also the behavioral goal. So different approaches to social studies may take one or the other. And according to some educationists, we need to find the right mix of them. So while we are preparing our lesson plans, we have to first understand that the content given in the textbook, if it is didactic, for example, India size, class 9 geography, first chapter, India size and location. We know that the entire content is given in a didactic approach. So when the content is given in a didactic approach, we just need to take help of only the maps which are given in the textbook and just go on giving the information to the student as per this. So then this becomes easy for us to teach and to complete our syllabus also on time. And the students are also able to grasp the content properly. Then the next question comes like, again, we need to think over this content in a reflective manner. So the type of question which we are supposed to ask to the students should be in such a way that we are making the students to think over it. We are making the students to think, and then next it should make the students touch their emotions. So again, the cultural aspect which we find in the textbook, that India had long relations with other countries, right from passes and all, mountains and the passes and the routes that were maritime routes and the sea routes which were there. So we have to make the students understand that our culture is having a great significance all over the world. We were the first in order to introduce zero, that is the decimal systems, to the entire world. So we should be able to make the students realize the importance of our country. And then as a student of this century, what we are supposed to take a firm stand for our country. So this should be our approach while teaching this lesson. Now I just go to the another aspect, that is what are the curricular approaches that we find in social studies. So when we are referring to social studies, we will find that colonial social studies textbook, they tended to be heavily didactic. And here I'm just giving you example of history textbooks because they occupy a central role in constructing identities and conveying official historical conceptions. And we will find that all over the world, the history textbook, they have tried to transport the symbolic spheres of meaning and values that might help to create cohesion and produce political legitimacy within their societies. They not only transmit facts or data, but also specific self-images, images of the other and images of the enemy. So history textbook thus serve as instrument of state remembrance policy and as key resources in projects of identity and nation building through knowledge production. Here on the screen, you can see one cover page of history and civics, standard 8. This is SCRT textbook, Maharashtra SCRT textbook. I would just like to know what is this cover page trying to convey? This cover page, what is it trying to convey? You can see the images given on the cover page. Any answers, ma'am?
Is the question clear,
No answers.
ma'am?
On the cover page, you can see some of the images. So what is this cover page trying to convey? As
About
it is
different rulers
about different rulers and
and
also
overview about what's inside. Culture, important
yeah,
monuments,
important
our
monuments.
connectivity with the rest of the world,
Yeah, our connectivity with
cultural
rest of the world.
heritage,
Yes, and
trading,
also it is
period
trying to
during Shivaji.
focus. It is also trying to focus upon one strong symbolic image, that is regarding Shivaji Maharaj, because it is specifically related to Maharashtra's state board text. Okay. Now, this is the content, history of medieval India. Again, Maharashtra state textbook. You can look at the content over here given. So looking at the content, we will understand that it is focusing majorly upon the Maharashtra, about the times before Shivaji Maharaj, and also about the Marathas, the protectors of the nation. And it is also trying to display about the life of the people in Maharashtra. So this is the one of the curricular concept that is being taken into account by the SCRTs while they are preparing the textbooks, the content that they are preparing. Now let us proceed further. Another approach, that is identity formation and cultural transmission. So when we are talking about identity formation and cultural transmission, we already have Vedas, Upanishads, Smritis, Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata. All these are some of the prehistoric, early historic Indian scriptures which bear social values and healthy living principles. The Arthashastra of Kautilya, Panchatantra of Vishnu Sharma are some of the ancient Indian composition or texts which deal with social science tenets and principles. And the early medieval and medieval literary traditions like Buddhist texts, Jain texts, Bhakti texts are one way or the other considered as texts of social and cultural values and heritage. So when we are taking the names of such books, we will find the reference in our textbooks also. Yeah, again, this is class 9, chapter 1, India size and locations. So here we can find the reference of this, the ideas of Ramayana, Upanishads, and the stories of Panchatantra, the Indian numerals, and the decimal system could reach many parts of the world. Then we can also see the connections of India with the other parts of the world. So we cannot ignore our old textbooks or the old Vedas, which are knowledgeable and which have been helpful in delivering knowledge to the students. Now, again, this is class 7 textbook, which is giving, which also holds important regarding this. So here we can find 6 systems of philosophy, which is been referred over in the textbook. Then we can also find about the Buddhist text. We can also find about the Upanishads and their reference, what the Upanishads, what the Vedic texts were saying. So we can find the reference about all this in our textbooks. Then there is another approach of textbook, that is to develop civic culture. Now, when we talk regarding civic culture, we will find that class 3 to 5, they are having environmental studies, and class 6 to 8, basically NCRT textbooks. They are categorized into history, geography, and social and political life, democratic life. And 9th and 10th, it goes into democratic life. And again, 11th and 12th, it goes into separate. So here we need to teach civic culture, like a simple civic culture, like to teach how to use post office, about the banking system, about the voting system, and how elections are conducted, etc. Then community culture and identity. We also need to teach culture of a nation, its symbols, languages, music, teach culture of a region, teach culture of an ethnic group. So when we are a social science teacher, we need to focus upon all these points. And we can also find the reference of these all things in the content that is being found in our textbooks. For example, here, this is class 7th history state textbook, SCRT, Maharashtra SCRT textbook. Now here you can find that curriculum research, this is grade 7 textbook. My question is, which culture does this textbook want to transmit? Contents which are given in this textbook on this page, and just try to answer which culture does this textbook want to transmit. You will get the answer from the contents that
Regional.
are given. Regional and a particular word.
Medieval.
No, particular word that is culture. Which culture?
Hindu.
Another
Marathi.
Maratha.
Indian,
It is Maratha.
Swaraj.
It is Maratha. Okay, so it is trying to transmit regarding the Maratha culture. Now, here the contents are from our NCERT textbook. Here we can find that it is trying to transmit regarding the nomadic people, regarding the tribal people, and also how the settled communities were. And again, it is also telling about the regional cultures, how they have been formed. And again, it is going back to political formation. Then we are having this content, class 9 political science textbook. It is trying to develop national identity through this content. So when we are looking at all these things, we can infer that for the textbook content that we find, it is basically related to state paternalism and also active citizenship. Now, state paternalism, it focuses on duties. We can find this reference also by taking the example from Nazism and the rise of Hitler, where he himself had asked to rewrite the school textbook. And the British civics which were there in colonial India, it tried to make Indians into loyal citizens of the crown, because those textbooks were written in such a way that the Indians were supposed to be only loyal to the colonial people. Then the textbook also focuses upon active citizenship. It focuses on rights and duties. We can find some project works like wherein the students are asked to do campaigning for clean air, save water, save trees. So the content which we find, which is related to water, which is related to atmosphere and its compositions, which is related to deforestation and all. So we should focus upon the students, like to do some projects upon this. Then next one is critical pedagogy. Now, critical pedagogy, it should stimulate to question for the causes of inequalities, casteism, poverty, gender discrimination. So it motivates the students to take action and to take concrete steps to achieve them. They should not be just reflective but expressive in behavior. For example, we should question if there is a chapter on poverty, why is there poverty? What are the reasons behind it? What they can contribute towards reduction in the poverty? Or why is there patriarchy? What are the reasons behind it? Or why is there casteism? So all these are some of the questions which should contribute towards the students to think, to provoke them to take actions, and it should stimulate their thinking power. Now, this is page 19 of NCERT grade 6, Social and Political Life, in a chapter called Diversity and Discrimination. Here, which perspective do you see? Whether it is didactic, reflective, affective, or behavioral approach? Actually, this is an extract which Dr. Ambedkar is speaking about himself. In 1901, when he was 9 years old, he was going to meet his father in Koregaon along with his brothers and cousin brothers. His father did not turn up to the station to pick them up. Neither his father has sent any servant to pick them up. The station master, when he saw them very nicely dressed up, he thinks that they belong to Brahmin family. But Ambedkar answers that they belong to Mahar. So this answer made the station master to remain silent, and he did not offer any help to them. After an hour, again the station master, he comes and he inquires. So the Ambedkar is saying that they are ready to go by a bullock cart, but even the bullock cart, they are ready to pay double also. But even they were not ready to carry them because they belong to Mahar community. And then there is an extract about Ambedkar, what he is saying. So here there are two questions. So it is referring to which perspective? Either it is referring to didactic, reflective, affective, or behavioral, and what it is trying to, and the curricular approach, which curricular approach it is trying to focus upon, whether it is focusing upon historical, cultural, identity building, state paternalism, active citizenship, or critical pedagogy.
Most common answers are didactic, reflective.
Didactic is correct because it is telling a story, but also it is reflective and affective also. And
Affective.
yeah, and which curricular approach it is trying to transmit? Is it history, cultural transmission, identity building, state paternalism, active citizenship, or critical pedagogy?
Critical pedagogy.
Yes,
One
correct.
answer we got.
Yeah, correct.
Identity.
Identity building, yes.
Cultural transmission.
Not cultural transmission, it is critical pedagogy and identity building. It is correct. Now let us proceed further. There is another example of this from geography class 10, resources and development. So here the question is, which curricular approach do you see here? Only the curricular approach. Whether it is critical pedagogy, whether it is identity and all.
Didactic.
Didactic and critical pedagogy, because it is, yeah, because there is a question, do you think that resources are free gifts of nature? Now let us see some influences on social studies. So social studies is being seen as child-centered, see from the point of view of the child. Then it is also seen as personal growth, individual focus, personal fulfillment, distances from social goals and social needs. This is very important. And also it focuses upon moral and spiritual education. Now, the question comes regarding whether it is called as social studies or social sciences. In some states, it is called as social studies, and then it has acquired the face of social sciences. Why? Because the different disciplines of anthropology, sociology, political science, economics, all these have got gathered after 19th century. Before that, it was called as social studies. But let us try to find out the difference between these two. Social science, it seeks to explain or understand social reality, and social studies also does the same. It also seeks to explain or understand social reality. Social science take a step back from value positions, and here social studies often takes a strong value position. Social science analyzes feelings and values, does not directly try to build them. And social studies uses methods which directly build feelings and values. So this is the difference between social science and social studies. My last question for today's session. This is the last question. Like, this is page 4 of chapter 5, Women Change the World of NCERT grade 7, Social and Political Life. There is an extract given. This extract, it is speaking about the stereotype, and it is also speaking about Lakshmi Lakra, 27-year-old Lakshmi Lakra from a poor tribal family in Jharkhand. And she has become the first railway driver. So just tell me whether is this social science or social studies?
Social science.
Social science is the answer.
Some are saying social studies also. Mixed answers again.
Yeah. So this is basically a social studies. This example, because when we look at the previous slide, uses methods which directly build feelings and values and often takes a strong value position. So this is related to social studies, breaking stereotypes. So thank you all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Any questions? The link has been shared. Any questions from your side? We are getting the
Whatever
messages
questions
of
can raise their hands here. Ms. Urvi, check whether there are questions in the chat box.
No, sir, not yet.
If there are no questions, then we can write up now.
Yes, sure. So thank you, ma'am. Your words of wisdom have added on to the intellectual pursuits of our esteemed participants. However, now can I proceed to the vote of thanks, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to extend our gratitude and appreciation for Ms. Neeta Inamati for enlightening us with boundless discourse. I'm sure we will apply these tenets in our teaching methodology and ensure our young learners reap maximum benefit out of it. Dear participants, kindly note the link for certificate and feedback form has already been posted. You're requested to fill up the form with all the necessary details. I, Urvi Dave, along with Extra Mile Education and Training, would like to thank Dr. Abdul Salam for his boundless support and guidance. Thank you, sir, for such a great opportunity. And most importantly, thank you a million times to all the participants for their enthusiasm. I sincerely hope we earned the privilege of your time. Over to you, Salam, sir.
Well, thank you everyone for your great help managing the session. Thank you, Neeta ma'am. Your experience has been very evident in the presentation. Definitely, educators who have joined are going to benefit from the session. That was a very different, kind of learning. It was a serious kind of learning. In fact, definitely effective and reflective, and different goals and all. Maybe it is for the first time that I am learning such kinds of goals and in social science. So thank you so much for your efforts. It was a serious learning, as I said. As you were also looking very serious, and participants were participating and interacting with the resource person. That was the best part of the session, and we hope to provide more and more sessions on subject specific inputs and insights. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you, Urvi Dave ma'am, once again, and Biju sir. And thank you all the educators. Please keep connected. If you have any questions, you can ask in the WhatsApp group also. We are active 24 hours there. Don't hesitate to ask questions. And Neeta ma'am is also there, I suppose. So thank you so much, Neeta ma'am, and Urvi ma'am, and all the educators for joining. Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah, good night. Good night, everybody. Good night.